there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Or hello, whatever time it is for you.
Never know. My name is Reverend Nickie Golden. This is Tina Vesely. She is a internationally renowned medium. She's an amazing person, which you probably heard me say last time, but I mean it, so I'm very consistent with it. And this is Reverend Mindy Tucker. We're so happy to be with you today in whatever way we are with you and talk about things that will hopefully inspire us, delight us, and invite us to live more fully, even in the midst of being sheltered at home.
Or wherever you are, because not everybody is. Some of us are essential care workers, and we're really grateful for all the essential care workers in the world. Today's daily word is love, and we send those essential care workers love, and we send you love. And we invite you in this moment to tune into your heart, to the memory and the feeling and the intensity of love. For it is this love that sustains us. Absolutely. I am a perfect expression of divine love, and so it is.
Yes, let's all say that together.
I am a perfect expression of divine love.
Yes, we are. You are, we are. Everything is. There's love all around us. Our job, I believe, or our task, whatever you want to call it, is to be open to that love, to learn how to open our hearts and open our minds to the love that's already around us, and to be able to perceive it and then to live it, to receive it, to perceive it, receive it, and live it.
Yeah, I want to share something that happened to me yesterday in a different form of love of a stranger. Well, not recently. I have a habit of thanking people for working. And it's just, thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for, being my grocer or what. That's just a habit I had even before this started, and I've probably been doing it a bit more. So yesterday, we went to go to one restaurant that happened to be closed to get takeout, and we didn't realize how many restaurants are not even doing takeout.
Right, absolutely closed.
And so we went to Jimmy John's over by us, and I went in, and this young girl must have been about 16 years old, 17, and she goes, I want to thank you for patronizing us and coming here and ordering. And I was like, what? I wasn't used to, not that young people can't do that, but to actually have somebody saying thank you. And she said it with this gleaming smile, and I just felt the love of her, and I thanked her for being there, and I noticed so many people appreciate those small gestures of, thank you or have a beautiful day, and it's a loving energy without having to say, I love you to your baker, but just that appreciation. And that love just comes back to us, and it radiates us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. And it shifts the world. The research shows that for every negative thought, you need to have 5 positive thoughts to counter it. So I'm noticing that as well. In this time, where I'm gravitating to is the positive thought that comes across on a Facebook post, or the positive thought that comes across in a blog. I've been teaching a class online, the positive thoughts that come through, because in unity we consider love to be the harmonizing power of the universe. So it's like a tuning fork. The more we bong on that tuning fork of love and appreciation and generosity with our words, we're creating a whole new vibration. The virus can't get you if you're vibrating wrong.
Exactly. It's 742 hertz.
Yes.
Is the frequency to cure the corona. I found it out because of Jerry, my husband, the other day. He goes, do you know it's 742 hertz that can keep you from the virus, or can cure it? I don't know the proper verbiage.
And do you know how many YouTubes there are of Om at 742 hertz?
Oh, really?
See, that's another thing I found this week teaching meditation class, was looking for YouTubes. But if you can just go to your phone or computer, find some monks chanting ohms at 742 hertz.
Yeah, it was interesting because he's like, what instrument can radiate that high? And I said, I don't know, that's pretty low for a gong, but we can. But he was trying to get a hint that he needs another gong.
Oh.
Yes, honey, I need it.
I'm not feeling that love right now.
Feeling a different
It's not
kind of love.
harmonizing with you.
No.
Well, one of the nice things is you can put that in and you can play it in the background and just have it going while you're doing other things at home. But my challenge to each and every one of you is how many different ways, and it's a challenge for me too, but how many different ways can we find to express love without necessarily saying the words, I love you? Now, the I love you words are fantastic, but let's find as many different ways, infinite ways, because love truly is infinite, to be able to express it so we don't have to feel. Sometimes with like your grocer or your baker, I would feel a little uncomfortable leaving going, I love you. And I feel good with that with my friends.
Right.
But how can we find a multitude of ways to say I love you without using those words? And as you think of them, post them in the comments.
Here on this one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting the different ways you can express it. Even sometimes a simple smile. You know, it's interesting.
Well, it's like you said, the twinkle in her eyes, so you knew it was authentic.
Yeah, it was amazing. Or just like you saw my dog run in here, he felt our love and our vibration just radiating. It was like, oh, I want some extra love.
Oh yeah, I want some of that. Ooh, that feels good. I'm gonna make like a sponge and soak it up.
Well, that's what and animals are good to love on, and a lot of people don't take that time to appreciate them. So that's an unconditional love, just like with a baby in most cases.
Oh yeah.
So where they can't speak, and you know, you both know the love of the animals because you have a couple, especially little Burrito.
We have a Maine Coon whose name is Burrito, and this morning he was he was living up to his name. He likes to burrow under blankets and then flip himself. So he's actually, well, he looks more like a tostada, not a tostada.
A taco.
A taco, anyway. But even if you don't have a pet or you were allergic to pets, you can imagine what that feels like, using that power that we have of imagination to bring into our being, into our soul, into our psyche, that love of a pet. Sometimes it's easier to think about a pet because they're unconditional, right?
Yes,
People are people.
Yeah.
So really what we're talking about is the frequency of love rather than the emotion of love. So we're living from that heart space of love, that frequency that is steady and consistent. So,
well, for those people who are and that's just an example as animals because Buddy's here, but before we had him, I would look outside at birds.
Oh yeah.
Or animals I wouldn't normally touch, like the little salamanders that are outside. And you could just see how they are, and it's relaxing, and they're just so carefree. When I remember the one day my husband and I went outside, and this is when like all this negative stuff was on the news and on Facebook about, you know, the virus came out or whatever, and so many people were glum and just like in a mood. And we went outside, and you could hear 6 birds just singing away so beautifully, just chirping. And we stepped outside, and I was like, what? It was so amazing to hear that loving sound. Some people might not like it. I do enjoy, you know, in a spring day, the birds just chirping.
Well, if
that
that doesn't float your boat, think about the trees and the love that the trees have for our planet and the whole, how interconnected they are. There's research that shows their root systems actually, you know, this tree's connected to this tree. I'm not talking about this bone's connected to that bone, but this tree's connected to this tree through their roots, spreading that love all around the planet. So holding the vision for us to wake up and see it.
I was first on a spiritual path, I started reading Deepak Chopra. And in one of his books, and this was like 20 years ago, but in one of his books, he stated that if you want to open your heart, every person that you walk by or every person that you see, say, I love you to them in your mind and let it come from your heart. Now, I was living in New York City at the time, so there was a lot of, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you in my mind. But it made a difference. And the more I did it, it became like a mantra for me. And the more I did it, the more I started to feel a difference inside of me and then more connected to other people. And I found myself more friendly with other people and more open to their friendliness. So I was probably missing a whole lot of love that was coming my way because I was so shut down in terms of my heart space.
We could do that with pictures.
Yes.
You know, this is an excellent time to go through photo albums, whether physical photo albums or the photo albums that we have digitally, and look at different people we know in our lives and open our hearts to them, or even give them a phone call.
Yeah. A text, the email.
Haven't talked to you in 5 years.
Actually, we've been hearing stories about that. People who thought, oh, you came up on my contact list or you came up on my Facebook page, and I recognize my life has been so busy I haven't reached out to you, and people are starting to reach out.
Yeah, I was one of those people who told you. I haven't spoke to a friend who I haven't seen, I think, since 2014, and for some reason I went to send one of those little comics to, I think, you and, you know, my husband and a couple other people, and whatever, I'm like, oh, look it. And I just sent it to her. It was so funny. We've been talking ever since. It's just amazing how those things just pop up.
So what's a way we could hold people in love in our minds and hearts?
One of the, individually or as a whole?
Individually.
I sometimes will sit there and I like to go to my own happy place. It depends on my mood because I have a couple different happy places when I visualize. And I like to bring each person individually there. And I'll have a whole big room with everybody, or actually one of the places is like in like Maui or like the beach, like a tropical setting. And I'll have them all there, and then I just see this beautiful pink loving energy around all of them, and them just soaking in that sun, that healing love, and all like that, and just their radiant smiles and chuckles. You know, it's not like they're having a beach party or anything, but they're just sitting there absorbing it. And a lot of times when I do take that space, I'll get a text even from a client who I haven't heard from in a while. It's like, hey, were you praying for me today? And you know, or even from a family member, you know, I was thinking about, and I just sit there and it's like, well, that's because I was just meditating and sending you love.
Yes.
And your vision is the pink bubble, and the pink for love, the color pink for love.
I use the a light color pink for self-love with myself, or how my mother used to tell me what her symbolism was. It was a little bit more of a purer love. You know, where people think of red as in passion and, oh, I'm in love with you, romantic love. I don't see that. I see it a little bit more because it's pink and it's the red and white mix, so it's a pink because white is for purity. So I like the light pink.
I know that when I have a shoulder ache or I've been sitting too long and my back is stiff, Nikki will say, imagine light blue. Send it light blue. So we can do pink for love and we can do light blue. Now I'm thinking it's for healing, but it might be
It's actually for calming.
for calming.
Because if you've been sitting for a long time, and we're sitting more right now because we're spending more time in our home, then the light blue calms those muscles that have gotten contracted from sitting so much. Also, oftentimes, green is considered the color that's around the heart chakra.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's pink, sometimes it's green. The other thing, and this comes from pranic healing, is we can hold the color gold in our hearts and send that out, because gold helps, again, like love, helps to harmonize.
I think this is really good for visual people.
Yes, it is.
And I'm looking at your gold shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So we already have a vision of gold. I do a meditation called Golden Energy, and from the center of the earth, pulling that golden energy. And I say it's the energy of Jesus, it's the energy of Buddha, it's the energy of every holy spiritual teacher that has ever come to earth, and pulling it right up through, starting in our toes and coming all the way up through our body and out through our crown. So you have that available to you at any time, to just pull right from the center of the earth, that golden healing light energy.
And if you're a kinesthetic person, you can put your hands together in a prayer position and with your thumbs touch your heart, touch the center of your chest, and that touch, that kinesthetic experience will open that heart chakra. Or if you don't want to put your hands in a prayer position, you can just lay your hands on your heart chakra and just hold them there for a little bit. And then when you're ready to let go, you can either release it out to other people or bring it up and flow it down yourself. So you're having an opportunity to move your body, because if you're kinesthetic, you're going to want to move your body and move that energy.
So that's the holy way of sterilizing.
Yes, blessing yourself.
Bring this solution up.
Yeah.
And gently move it over your body.
One of the questions I've gotten repetitively from people is, like you were mentioning before, all that negative stuff you could see on Facebook, on the computer, on the television, because that isn't, like you said, that's 5 to the 1. And one of the things I've said is, first of all, if you don't have to dislike people, because say your Uncle Bob is the one who's putting that newscast about all this negative stuff about whatever, to have less controversy for those on Facebook, there is an unfollow button. You could keep the person as your friend, just unfollow them to just prevent less of a controversy in the family or your friendships. You don't have to look at it. You could still post little nice things. I like to post little fun things to do, like I did a little comic thing that named something that's with the first letter of your name that you would take camping.
Oh my gosh, I've had so much fun doing those. That's where I go down the rabbit hole. Okay, and now my first name, Mindy. What would I, if I was stranded at home, what would I be eating, and take one letter? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I have fun.
Yeah, I like to do that, because what does fun do? It brings laughter, or it brings a stimulation.
It shifts our consciousness.
Yeah, and so I like doing those fun things. A lot of times we're sitting there doing puzzles, crocheting, sometimes reading a serious book, and we have that little bit of that lull. But when we have that stimulation, all of a sudden, if you're having a little bit of fun, you might be a little bit more peppier, and I'm gonna knock out doing that closet, or something like that. But I would like you also to find a way to just even stand up and to like let yourself loose and shake. I know I found out from a doctor friend that your organs get so stiff, and you can end up going to the hospital or urgent care or to see your physician for no reason, because your different organs are just like spazzing in a sense. So that little bit of circulation can help, even if you're just dancing in your living room, and if you're not that mobile, as long as you're not paraplegic, you should be able to move your arms or your legs and get things going.
We call it creative joint play. We've learned that from the Hendricks. Creative joint play. You can, even this is a shifter.
Yeah.
And so really what we've been talking about is ways to presence our fear and invite a different experience in.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm anxious. Yes, I'm nervous. Yes, I feel afraid, or even as far as freaked out. But I can do things for myself. Here are 5 ways I can have positive thoughts. I can wear different colors. I can love myself. I can do the pink bubble. I can do golden light. I can do it with my mind. I can do it with my hands and scoop it over.
We
We can do creative joint play.
You could send energy to the little birds or the squirrels outside, or even the trees. If you just look outside and just send it love and energy, if you want that exchange. Or if you don't feel that you have somebody to send it to, you could just send that energy there. I love walking in some place and I just push out right from here, I just push out love. And that's just a habit I have. I just like to, share that.
So it's like, I think of Godsville singing Prepare You, John the Baptist singing Prepare You the Way of the Lord. Boom, here comes love.
Yeah.
Prepare ye the way. Boom. The law that I am, the law of love.
Yes, the law of love. And then you can have a great time seeing if you can ask the divine or go inside and decide what you'd like to see. This is an exercise from Pam Grout, who wrote the book E Squared. And decide what you want to see. So maybe you want to see a blue heron. I did this last week. I want to see a blue heron and I want to see it within 48 hours. Well, it actually took me 5 days. But all of a sudden, there was a picture of a blue heron that popped up, a very beautiful one. And I was sharing it with somebody and she said, I wonder how many of them you missed before you saw it.
But you saw it when you were ready.
But I saw it when I was ready. But even looking at, wow, I wonder what I'm missing, allows us to presence ourselves and open up to the possibility that is present for us in the moment.
And that's all part of taking that time of self-love, is being aware of the presence. Because a lot of times, normally we're focused on what we loved or missed in the past, or what we're going to love in the future, or nurture or cherish. And by just being present, I enjoy walking in my house and just feeling the love of that. Yesterday, Jerry was busy doing, so I don't know what he was doing, but I said, okay, come here. And he's like, for what? I'm like, come here. And we stood as center of the house as we could, and we held hands and said a beautiful prayer, thanking the house, being appreciative of you, or both of you, our community, our family, our children. And we were just going back and forth and sharing that, and you could just feel the house like just radiate,
That's
so
beautiful.
that's just something that we did, and it was, it was pretty nice, simple and
That
nice.
harmonizing power of the universe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. You could create a Zoom account. There's free Zoom accounts that last for about 42 or 44 minutes, and call some friends up to join you and have a tea party on Zoom.
Tea party.
Tea party. Make some tea or make some coffee. Have a tea party and talk to each other on Zoom so you're connecting. I got a message from a friend that said, hey, can we FaceTime for just a minute? And I said, sure. We got on FaceTime. We didn't talk for about 5 minutes. Had a great time. I felt uplifted.
Well, I know my daughter-in-law with our 3 grandchildren, and Jackson's the baby. He's only about 4 months old. All their friends, and I think there's 12 families, go on Zoom, and all the kids talk to each other. I don't know how the moms deal with all the chitter-chattering, but you see the kids looking at each other, showing them, oh, look at this toy I have, or look at what I'm doing, and they have playtime for about a half an hour. And I thought that was pretty cool, because they can't see each other, that they're able to still keep their little bond.
Well, creativity is our birthright.
It really is. And when we get creative, when we choose that, we'll find all kinds of ways to connect, to feel love, to experience the oneness that we are without necessarily being in the physical presence of another person.
Yay, thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching the whole thing. Radiant health abides.
Yes, radiant health does abide. And if you've been touched, moved, or inspired, share this with somebody. Share it on your Facebook page. Feel free to donate at Unity Wilmington or unitywill.com. And if nothing else, be the power of love that you are in this world, because love is the master harmonizer, and love is that energy that emanates from the heart and wants the best for other people. So many blessings to you, much love to you, and much gratitude.
You are a perfect expression of divine love. Yes, you are.
Thank you.